Right across the territory on the ABC, you are tuned into the Country Hour. The Northern Land Council says it's lost confidence in the government's ability to regulate the NT's emerging cotton industry and has joined a growing list of organisations that are concerned about the amount of land clearing that's happening right now in the top end. Meanwhile, the Amateur Fishermen's Association of the Northern Territory says the government is failing to protect the iconic Daly River. Max Rowley has more.
It's been termed a silver bullet crop for the NT, but the Northern Land Council says Aboriginal people are not being properly consulted about land clearing linked to the development of a growing cotton industry.
We're not anti-cotton, we're not anti-development, but we are really interested in seeing that the rights of Aboriginal people aren't trampled on, and what we're seeing to date is causing us great concern, especially when we've got Aboriginal people who call us when they see, the bulldozers roll in, and they've just got no idea why they're there, what they're doing, and so that's where we've got to go and ask the questions. Why aren't we being listened to?
NLC Chief Executive Joe Martin-Jard says he's lost confidence in the NT government.
We don't see a lot of evidence of consultation happening in any kind of meaningful way. There have been, I think, 18 applications for land clearing permits made in the recent 12 months, and every time we've put in a submission, it feels like it's just falling on deaf ears. And the other thing that really disappoints us about the Territory Government's processes is that the period to make submissions are very short. And we want to see those periods opened up to allow us to go and consult with Aboriginal people to see how they feel about things happening on country where they've got native title rights.
Over the years, many people have said that the river is silting up a lot more than what it used to be. So there is a natural or unnatural problem happening on the Daly at the moment.
That's Warren DeWitt, the president of the Amateur Fishermen's Association of the NT, and he's concerned about the impact of land clearing on the Daly River.
The Daly attracts thousands of people there. Territorians, the reason why we live in the Territory is we like to go out and enjoy the environment. If we destroy the environment, why do we want to stay here? What is holding all these people in the Northern Territory is that they love the outdoors. They love going to these natural places and enjoying the outdoors. But if we allow or mistakenly do this without taking the proper controls and making sure that people who are clearing are sticking to the guidelines, then the repercussions and the destruction of the river system is just going to replicate what's happened down south. We are not that stupid that we shouldn't realise what's happened down south could be done up here if the controls and regulations aren't being kept up to and controlled and strong enough.
A few decades ago, Warren DeWitt worked with a group of scientists to inform the NT government on the best way to protect the Daly River.
I was on the original Dr. Mac, which is the Daly River Management Advisory Committee back in the maybe 80s or late 90s that it was done, and the scientists at that stage recommended that there should be a 1 kilometre buffer along the Daly River to help protect it from any erosion and sediment build-up or sediment washing into the Daly River.
But in 2020, the NT government quietly reduced land clearing guidelines at the Daly from a 1 kilometre buffer to 250 metres. Earlier this year, satellite images and photographs suggested land had been cleared at Claravale Station, adjacent to the Daly River, closer than permitted.
Territorians entrust the Northern Territory Government to act on our behalf. They have failed us. The thing is that the Daly River is our iconic barrow river in the Northern Territory, and it needs protecting, and the idea of the buffer is to allow that riparian to do its job and not let erosion happen on the banks of the Daly or a lot of sediment being washed into the river.
But the NT government says the land at Claravale was cleared in the 1960s, before clearing permission was required, and insists its regulations are sufficient. Here's Chief Minister Natasha Files.
So we've enacted significant environmental legislation right across the Northern Territory, more than any other government, and we'll continue to work in this space. We do need to make sure that we have processes that recognise traditional ownership of land, the environment, in terms of any economic development.
But Warren DeWitt is calling on the government to restore a 1 kilometre buffer along the Daly River.
I'd like to see what scientists or what scientific information they used to allow them to reduce it from 1 kilometre back to 250 metres. Why have we done that? I mean, I wasn't aware that there was any public discussion about that 1 kilometre going back to 250 metres. So It's very disappointing. I mean, we really need to protect the environment. I mean, it's one of those great places to be in the Northern Territory, to be able to go out and enjoy it. And if we allow this to go on, and this could be just the tip of the iceberg, I mean, land clearing is going ahead at a very fast pace now because of cotton. And I'm not against cotton, but I am against people not following the rules and regulations, but also I'm not happy about the government if they're not making sure that the rules and regulations are adhered to, and if they're not strong enough to protect the environment. The environment has to be looked after.
There's Warren DeWitt, who's the president of the Amateur Fishermen's Association of the Northern Territory. The ABC has reached out to the owners of Claravale Station but did not receive a response. You could read more about this story up online right now if you search for NT Country Hour.